Here we go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 40 of Untold Evidence. In 1987, in the southern Ural mountains of what was then the Soviet Union, a planned reservoir project was halted. The reason? Aerial photography taken in advance of the construction had revealed something underneath the soil. A circular structure, approximately 160 meters in diameter, two concentric rings of dwellings, a central plaza, and defence walls. The structure was the remnants of a fortified settlement. Carbon dating placed its construction of approximately 3,500 years before the present day. That site is called Arkaim. It is one of dozens of similar Bronze Age sites discovered across Russian and the Kazakh steppes over the past 40 years. Archaeologists call them Sintashta culture. Hope I pronounced that right. Russian-nationalist authors call them something else. So let us begin with what we generally know. Arkaim is a real archaeological site. It was excavated by Soviet archaeologists led by Gennady Zavanovich from 1987 onwards. The site is dated using carbon-14 analysis of organic materials to approximately 1700 to 1500 BC. So this is the late Bronze Age, roughly contemporary with the New Kingdom of Egypt and the height of the Hittite Empire. Arkaim is one of approximately 20 similar fortified settlements in a region of the southern Ural steppe, now called the Land of the Cities. The Sintashta culture, named after the river near the original type site, developed in the region over approximately 3 centuries. So what makes this site significant? It's all what they contained. Burial goods included some of the earliest known examples of light, spoke-wheeled chariots, specifically burials of the Sintashta cemetery include chariots approximately 100 years older than any chariots previously found in the Near East. Now this is significant because chariots had previously been thought to have spread from the Near East outward. The Sintashta evidence suggests that they may have originated in the steppe and moved southwards. These kind of discoveries completely reshape our view of human history, and the culture is also one of the strongest archaeological candidates for the original Indo-Iranian language communities. The people who descended would later spread into the India, Iran, and parts of Europe. So what's its specific features, and why do they attract the most attention? So the settlement is geometrically precise. Its outer walls is a near perfect circle. 3,500 years ago, and it's built to a near perfect circle. Its inner wall is also a near perfect circle. It's concentric with the outer wall. The dwellings, approximately 60 in total, are arranged radially like spokes of a wheel between the two rings. There is evidence that the structure was aligned with the astronomical events. Specifically, the entry passages are orientated so that on certain days of the year, the rising sun illuminates particularly the interior spaces. This is comparable to the alignments of Stonehenge in England, although it's slightly less dramatic. The settlements also had drainage systems, common storage facilities, and dedicated metallurgical workshops. Bronze production was clearly central to the economy. Some Russian researchers, particularly astronomers, have argued that this site was constructed specifically as an astronomical observatory. Mainstream archaeological opinion has been more cautious. Most archaeologists agree there is some astronomical alignment, whether the site was built primarily for that purpose or whether the alignment was incidental to the geometry. This is contested. What we all have to accept is a lot of these ancient sites have incredible precision to astronomy at that time. How they did it, I have no idea. But if we look at the pyramids, Stonehenge, Göbekli Tepe, sites like these, they all share that precision. So, beyond Arkaim, a wider category of claims has emerged in the Russian language sources about ancient megalithic structures across what is now Russia. These include The Tomsk, sometimes referred to as the Russian pyramids of the Urals, a ledge stone formation in the mountains of Shoria, a region of Siberia that some Russian researchers have argued are artificially constructed. The Mount Vottovaara formations in Karelia, a series of stone arrangements including what enthusiasts describe as a possible seed culture site. The dolmens of Western Caucasus, which, unlike many other Russian claims, are unambiguously archaeological. Approximately 300,000 stone box-shaped structures dating from around 4000 to 1500 BC. This is a long time ago. I want to be very careful here in distinguishing these claims. The dolmens are real and well documented. The Tomsk and Mount Vottovaara are contested. So we jump forward to 2023. Russian researchers Georgy Sindarov led an expedition to the Tomsk region and published photographs of what he claimed were ancient megalithic blocks, weighing several thousand tons each. Geologists have subsequently examined the site, have argued that the formations are most likely natural, specifically sandstone that is fractured along orthogonal joints, producing rectangular blocks. Such formations exist all over the world. The Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland is the most famous example. They look artificial, but they are not. Here is where the topic becomes politically complicated. In post-Soviet Russia, particularly from the 1990s onwards, a strand of Russian nationalists thought that has incorporated Arkaim similar sites into a wider narrative that the Slavic people, or some pre-Slavic ancestor population, were the original creators of the major elements of human civilization. This narrative is sometimes called Aryan, in the sense related to, but distinct from, the German fascist usage. Russian President Vladimir Putin himself visited the Arkaim site in 2005. His visit was reported in state media in terms that emphasized the site's significance for Russian identity. I am noticing this without endorsing it. The political appropriation of archaeology is a real and ongoing phenomenon, and one researcher should approach this with caution. Propaganda in political circles is high, and everyone wants to be seen as a superior or the original race of humanity, so we have to be careful when distinguishing this from real-life events. Mainstream archaeology does not support the broader nationalist claims. The Sintashta culture was real, it was very sophisticated, and it was almost certainly Indo-Iranian speaking. It is not, with any current evidence, the source of all human civilization. Comparable contemporary cultures existed across Eurasia and beyond. Now, the case for taking the actual archaeology seriously, separately from its political claims. So Arkaim is a genuinely unusual phenomenon. Bronze Age fortified settlements with concentric ring constructions, precise geometry, and astronomical alignments, as well as advanced metallurgy, are not common. This culture's contribution to chariot technology is well documented in peer-reviewed archaeological literature. The Indo-Iranian linguistic argument has substantially supported in mainstream historical linguistics. What is not supported is the claim that these sites prove a non-human or paranormal origin, or that they predate the conventional archaeological consensus by thousands of years. What is interesting, though, is how did they build these structures with such incredible precision? Carbon dating is a robust methodology, and Arkaim is not tens of thousands of years old. It is, on best evidence, between 3,500 and 4,000 years old. Still an incredible feat to build these structures. The dolmens of Western Caucasus separately are underappreciated archaeological treasures. They are not megaliths in the classical European sense, they are stone box graves. They are precisely worked, they number in the thousands, and they have, by archaeological standards, received remarkably little international recognition. So here is where the topic actually sits. This is real, documented, underappreciated body of pre-Christian archaeological evidence in the lands that are now Russia and formerly the Soviet Union. Some of it, Arkaim, the Sintashta culture, the Western Caucasus dolmens, is genuinely significant and deserves more international attention. Some of it, the Tomsk stones, certainly Mount Vottovaara, claims the broader nationalist narrative does not survive close archaeological examination. The structural problem is that these two categories frequently appear together in popular Russian language coverage. The mixing has made it harder for English-speaking audiences in particular to engage with the genuine archaeology without inadvertently endorsing the political claims. That's in part why Western coverage of this site is so low. The legitimate research is real, but the misuse of it and turning it political makes it harder for Western scientists to acknowledge. For viewers who want to dig a little bit further, the Sintashta Petrovaka literature in archaeology journals is for the rigorous starting point. David Anthony's book, The Horse, the Wheel and Language, is a really good non-academic introduction. Beyond that, caution. Sometimes the most interesting story is the one that is real but rarely touched. And sometimes what looks like a hidden truth is just a misidentified rock formation in a politically loaded landscape. Names matter, record matter, and facts matter. If you've enjoyed this episode, please drop a like and a comment. I apologise for my butchering of Russian names. They are much harder to pronounce than you'd first think. Until the next time, check out some videos, have fun, and we'll see you on the next episode.